Hi, my name is Sheryl Naidu, and welcome to my blog. Welcome to my vlog. I'm a medical student at the University of Cape Town in South Africa, and I wanted to make this vlog is going to be about how you can increase your marks, how to study, and little tips that I found helped me a lot in medical school. Okay, so let's begin. Obviously, first you need to have a goal. It needs to be a bit ambitious because it needs to get you going in the morning. It needs to make you excited, and anything is possible. So even if you have lots of mini goals, by the end of your degree, you can get that cum laude. You can finish with distinctions. But for my goal for the next semester, which is January to June, my goal is going to be I want to get all A's. My history prior record is another story because I was always smart in high school, and so I did well, but then so I got into medical school, which was great, but then I did badly because obviously there's different techniques, and it was that's a video for another day. But as time has progressed, these techniques have helped me, and I have gotten my marks up. So you need to have a goal. Second thing, when you need to have a goal, obviously you need to write it down somewhere. What I like to do is I have it by my bedside table. So the last thing I see before I go to sleep, the first thing I see when I wake up in the morning, and I spend 10 minutes something just visualizing whatever my goals are. Keep it short, just 3 main goals you want to achieve in a year or whatever time period, but just have it there. Then next is your attitude. You need to have a can-do attitude. You should never say things like I'm gonna fail or I can't do this or this is hard, because anything is you can learn anything if you put your mind to it. If you focus, you can actually learn anything. So you need to have a good attitude. You need to know what you want. You need to be positive. You need to be a nice person to be around. You need to attract positive things in your life. Just forget all that petty shit and gossiping and all of that. Fighting, if you're with someone and you guys just fight all the time, just break up. Today's going to be the day that you're going to be a student, because that is your job, that is your 9 to 5, that is your first priority. Your parents are paying university fees so that you get a degree, or maybe you're paying your own way through, so that's more of an incentive to finish as soon as you can and get the degree. Don't drop out. You need to have a goal. You need to have a good attitude. Books which I found help so much. I think it's always important at any point in your life. It doesn't matter whether you're married with children, but you should be reading a self-help book, even if it's 1 page a day. But always have something around just to keep your mind on the right track. So a few of my favorite books is Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, Girlboss or something by Sophia Amoruso. I think I may have the name wrong, but I will put the link in the description below. And my favorite book, I've been reading this since high school, but I always just reread it. Oh, and that other one, this one is by Michael Phelps. It's called No Limits. It's just after he won 8 gold medals in the Beijing Olympics. Now that's amazing. He's done the impossible. Listen to the man, he knows what he's doing. I mean, we can all learn something from him. And another book that I really loved, came out recently, I think in the past year, was by his trainer since he started swimming basically, Bowman. And it was talking about discipline. Discipline's so important, but discipline and time management and, really going for something when you have a goal. Because as I said, anything's possible and you can achieve anything. And another book that I love, it's really simple. It's the whole book is a metaphor, so it could come across as a children's book, but read into it. It's called The Alchemist by Coelho. I'm probably saying his surname wrong, so forgive me, but it's a beautiful book. I love it, and it makes me cry every time I read it, because it's talks about how we all have a destiny, we all have a dream, a goal. That's what gets us going. I mean, we're all made differently. Mine's is someday to become a surgeon and help thousands of people, and whatever your goal is, it makes you cry, it makes you happy, it makes you wake up in the morning. So that book talks to my soul, talks to anyone's soul. Beautiful book. That's important. So I referred to discipline earlier, but discipline, focus, determination, those are such important qualities to have. You need to say, okay, as I said earlier, being a student is your job. You need to focus on that job. For me, I know I can't get into a relationship with someone because when I can't focus on two things at once. Like if I'm studying, I'm gonna be getting butterflies and be like, oh, I wonder what Bay's doing, you know? Like I'm like obsessive compulsive. I can't focus and do things at once. So I know, well, for at least the majority of the duration of my degree, I'm not going to be getting into a relationship. And if you're like me, you probably shouldn't either. And I mean, you should listen to your parents. Like my parents told me, that's probably not a good idea for you. So your parents know you better than anyone else, and they always have your best interests at heart. So you should listen to them, talk to them about it. If they're cool with it, then you probably are. Like, for instance, my brother, he's so intelligent. He dated while he was in med school, and he finished cum laude. Like, him and his girlfriend had this thing going where they motivated each other, and they were studying together. So I assume that helped. Though, like, don't recommend dating someone in your own year, especially if you're in med school, because you're with that person for 6 years. If you break up, it can be very messy. Friend groups and everything getting involved. That's another story for another day. Anyway, so whatever it is, like, if you want to go out with your friends, you can do that, but you need to say, okay, I'm going to finish my work first. Like, say you set out to do 6 things today. You need to finish those 6 things, even if it's 10 p.m., and then go out. Which leads me to my next point, which is going to gym. So, as a kid, I was really, really chubby. Like, if you think you're chubby, like, times that by 10. But basically, it's so important as a student to go to the gym because, it's such a good break in between even. If you have, an hour here or there, go to the gym, get your blood pumping. You remember more like that. You feel more confident. You have higher self-esteem. You can feel you can do it. And it's surprisingly, most med students do train. I say surprisingly because time is an issue because there's just always so much work to do. But every time I go to the gym, especially because I'm studying in Cape Town, whenever I go to the Claremont Virgin Active, I only see med students. Like, obviously they don't know who I am. Like, I'm so lame. I'm just like this little kid. But I always see the older kids, and I know, it just shows gymming is so important. I want to embark on this mission now for the next semester. Well, for me, I want to get all A's. Motivate your friends, get them to, get everyone pumped up. Let's do this together. Teamwork is fun. If you're all in it together, there's a higher chance you're probably all going to get A's because you're going to be motivating each other. If you're talking, be like, hey, did you do the question set, problem set 5? I don't know. What are you doing this holiday? Have you covered chapter 7? It's always good to get friends involved, and it's also always good to, don't be a fake person. Obviously, keep your friends, but join the smart kids as well, or become friends with them because they know what they're getting top marks, so obviously they must know what needs to be done in order to get those marks. They've done it before. Get the advice from them. Text them if there's a really difficult problem. Ask them, hey, have you done this? Be a smart kid because by association you're gonna get those marks because who you join is who you will be in 5 years, and that is so true. So then also very important is time management. There are different techniques. Everyone does different things. I mean, you could have a study timetable, but it's good to basically have the same routine, the power of routine every day because your brain switches automatically. It's study time. You don't even need to motivate yourself because your brain knows it's time to study. Routine is the most powerful thing on earth. I think you can achieve anything with routine. You need to... Weekdays, come home from school 5 p.m. latest. I don't know what time you're going to finish because it changes every day. But basically, I would go through my homework, right? Take 2 hours, finish all the problem sets, whatever. If you just do 2 hours every day, do whatever homework you have for the day, you're probably going to finish in 2 hours, however long it takes. Then go to gym, come home, eat, then spend 2 hours studying hub, which is human biology for us, 2 hours doing chemistry. That's what works for me on weekdays, and then weekends, whatever I haven't covered during the week, I will do on the weekends, and I will obviously revise the notes I've made or go through past papers if I've already learned the notes for hub. But next point is you need to know how to study for each subject differently because every subject's different. So when I came from high school and I got to university, I was still applying the same techniques. And you need to know, number one thing, if you're going to university or college or whatever you call it, you need to change your studying techniques. So for chemistry, say I would read through the lecture notes and then skim through the textbook, but which is also very important. You have to read your textbook You have to, like, do not rely on lecture notes ever, because the textbook explains it so much better. I swear, it's really difficult to read because it's so big and like when it's so overwhelming. But just get through it, push through it. You have to read the textbook. There's no like qualms about it. You have to do it. You're a student. But I would read the lecture notes. I wouldn't go through the textbook. I would memorize the lecture notes, and then the tuts would come, or like tests would come, and I would be like so flummoxed. Why did I fail? You know, why did I fail? I can go to lectures, that's why. But anyway, yeah, lectures are very important. Also non-negotiable. Attend every single lecture because by default you're passed just by doing that. Anyway, chemistry, for instance, needs to be studied through questions. Like, obviously you need to understand the concepts, but you need to practice so many questions. Like what I've tried to start doing, it's really difficult, but you know, if you have time, you need to make time. At the end of every chapter in the chemistry textbook, any textbook, I think for sciences, there's a whole like series of questions, like maybe usually like 180 to 200 questions, but it takes you, like the first few questions are multiple choice, it's easy, like the first 50 or 60, so it'll probably take you about 4 hours if you're studying properly, but like for me, sometimes it'll take me 3 days. But basically, you need to go through all the questions, you need to go through all your tuts, all your problem sets. The problem with going through tuts and problem sets only, I feel, is you're doing them so many times, you've done them in class, you've done them for homework, whatever, you tend to memorize the answers, so you don't know whether you really know what you're doing or you just, you know, regurgitating. But that's also basis of studying, because that's what the lecturers put together. And past papers are your best friend. Go through as many as possible, but I know they do not give you the memo, so go through them early in advance so you know what's difficult, and you can work through them with your friends so you can see what answers they've had. You can compare answers, and whatever both of you have differently, you can go to a tutor or you can go to your lecturer, whatever, find out what is right. And then, for instance, hub, although questions will help, which is human biology, like physiology, anatomy, you need to memorize. You need to just sit there, study, and understand. Obviously, memorizing, when I say that, I don't mean just like regurgitate, but I mean understand, because when you understand what you're studying, it becomes so much more easier. You can link it to anything. You can link it to stuff you learned in high school, which were the basics, and it really helps. Maths is obviously like chemistry, you need to keep practicing. Physics, also just keep practicing questions. Understand the main concepts, those are very important. But the main concepts really take an hour, like, I mean, the main headings. And when you're making notes, go through the main headings, the main concepts, just put those on first. That'll probably take you like half an hour because it's just the headings. And that's basically what you need to get 50%. So that's obviously you want to pass and then do well. Like, don't get distracted by the details, because what so many people, including myself, do is like, ooh, I want to know this little fact, I'm going to be so smart. But then, like, you go to the exam and you can't list something so simple that was just a basic thing because you've forgotten it, because you focus so much on the unnecessary stuff that rarely even get tested. Then, obviously, it's important to know whether at any stage you need to know that you're actively studying, because as soon as you're passively studying, you might as well not be studying at all, and you might as well go watch some TV, because when you actively study, you absorb more. Passively studying is like rereading the textbook. Rewriting the textbook. Don't ever do that. That's a waste of time. Or just copying from your lecture notes onto your normal notes and think that you're doing yourself a service, because you're not. It's just a waste of time. You might as well just abandon what you're doing. You need to make sure you're actively studying, recalling information. I will make another video, maybe that's like, because this is getting too long, but on study techniques, on how different people study, like how to make notes, that kind of thing. And basically, the last tip is my own kind of thing. It doesn't matter whether you're agnostic or atheist, or even if you are spiritual, but I kind of feel like if you know that you're doing what needs to be done, you're doing your homework, you're attending lectures, you're like reading the chapters, you're going through the questions, you've done everything in your control, leave the rest to God, to the universe, whatever you believe in. But you need to have faith that everything's going to work out in the end, because it does. And anxiety, like I used to suffer a lot with anxiety and worrying, and that just is a disservice to yourself, because I believe in the law of attraction, and you're just attracting negativity into your life, and it's so unnecessary, because you've done everything that's in your control. Whatever happens for the best. Have faith, everything's going to work out. If you've done all your work, there's a 99.999% chance that you are going to get the results that you want to get. So good luck. Let me know if this helped. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video, and give me any comments for future videos that you think I should do. Thank you. This is my little puppy. Little baby. Hey, puppy. Okay, bye-bye. See you, bye.